So we are here today at Sweet Gum Manor with Alecia Petroze, the owner and creator of Juniper Seed.
Yes.
And we're so excited because yesterday we had one of our present day events and we had the pleasure of eating Alicia's amazing food that's all vegan. So we're going to talk about Alicia's journey and how you all might be able to start incorporating some plant-based eating into your lives. So, tell us how Juniper Seed started.
Well, my vegan journey started in 2019, so I'm just over 5 years. I had already been removing some meat from my diet. I was really down to just chicken. I started doing meatless Mondays, and I had watched some recent documentaries that had come out, and I was like, wow, like we really mass produce a lot of stuff in this country. And so it kind of piqued this interest of learning a little bit more of how I could just live a little bit more sustainably. And I had visited my dad and stepmom in Alaska, and something up there, I mean, it was just, everything was beautiful. It was huge mountains, and it was 2.5 hours driving from the airport to get to their house. And it was just like so serene, like nature really hadn't been tampered with.
Yeah.
And I came home and I was like, I think I'm gonna do this. Like I'm gonna try it out, and I'm an all or nothing kind of person, and literally cleaned out my entire refrigerator, freezer, got rid of all of my meat and dairy products. And I was like, all right, well, here we go, let's try it. I knew shortly after becoming vegan that I wanted to have some sort of restaurant. And my initial goal was to have a scratch-made Italian restaurant. My grandfather's from Italy, like big Italian family sit down. I have always loved to serve people through my food, but I was like, I really want to do something different. I want to do more of like an upscale brunch that will be approachable to vegans and non-vegans alike. And so that was kind of sitting in the back of my head. And before the meal prep thing came up, I'm fantasizing like, what would I name this thing? And I'm like, it has to be trendy and like a one-word name. Like it was just this like, I didn't know what it was. And so I'm super rooted in my faith. And I was like, maybe I'll just pray about it. Like, God, what do you got? What do you think? And immediately the word juniper was really loud. And I was like, okay, that's really random, and that never would have crossed my mind. So I started to do a word study and found a little bit about juniper trees and how resilient they are. And they can withstand really, really harsh climates. And not long after that, we actually had gone to Sedona and went up and did it was like a pink Jeep tour. And there was this juniper tree that was over 2,000 years old. And I mean, just the roots and how deep they were. And so I was like, man, like a lot of the characteristics of juniper bushes and trees really resonate with me, and some of the things that I've had to be resilient through, and some of the things I wanted to do as far as like leaving a legacy of like really driving some deep roots that this thing could withstand really harsh climates. And so I was like, all right, like that's it, that's gonna be the name of the brunch spot. And then my cousin, fast forward, she was like, hey, what about this meal prep? And I'm like, now I gotta come up with another name. All right, I got the name for the Italian place. I got the name for the brunch place. Now I got a meal prep place. What is this? So I was actually sharing with some friends of mine who I do nonprofit work in India with. And as I'm telling this story, one of our teammates was like, Juniper Seed. And I was like, wait, hold on, go back to that. And mind you, at this point, I'm like, all right, God, you gave me the first one. I'm gonna keep praying on this. And I'm like, no, like just drawing blanks. I'm like, what about this? And my daughter, and at the time I was like, that's not it. Like, it's just not it. And so, my friend Sarah was like, Juniper Seed, like this is the seedling that's gonna get you to where you wanna go. Right. And I was like, that's it.
So tell us about, you were saying you were experimenting and that you've been through a lot to get here.
Yeah.
What's an unexpected challenge that you faced in bringing this business to life? And something, maybe a piece of advice that you could give, or just something unexpected. Tell us about that.
Yeah. I mean, I think, you really have to dig deep and understand that, one, not everybody's meant to run a business. Right? Like not everybody's going to be a business owner.
Even though that's what's jammed down our throats on social, right?
Correct. Like you have to be an entrepreneur, and but that's not for everyone. But it takes a lot of sacrifice, like a lot of time and money, and you have to really be willing to go for it. And the thing that I tell, new startups is like, hey, like if you don't believe in yourself, who will? Like you really have to believe in what you're doing so other people can see it through your business. I don't have a business partner or someone that is invested. I have
me neither.
Literally, cashed in my life savings and have self-funded everything.
Right, so you're not coming with a trust fund?
Yeah, dang, I wish. That'd be nice.
So that's good, because one of my frustrations a lot of times with these podcasts or clips I see about successful female entrepreneurs, especially, or even male as well, at any kind of entrepreneur, is like, you're hearing this amazing success story, and then like you dig a little deeper and you're like, oh, their parents like gave them all the startup money. And I'm like, well, that's not helpful.
Yeah.
Because like I didn't have that.
No.
And you didn't have that.
No.
So
that's what I'm saying. I sold my new car so I wouldn't have a car payment. I cashed in my 401k. I mean, everything that I've
which
been
they
investing.
tell you not to do, but you did it. But you have to do those things.
Right. To start. I'm like, eventually this will be prosperous enough to where we'll take that and be able to reinvest in other places. Right. But it's a risk, and you have to be willing to jump, because if you're not willing to jump, you're not going to get there. I mean, it takes a lot of faith to believe in to believe in yourself, right? So,
do you have a tip for like when your belief starts flagging? Like,
tap into your people. Tap into your community. And that's and part of that is the vulnerability, right? Of knowing like, hey, I'm struggling right now. Hey, I thought we were going to do this event and it was going to be awesome, and it hasn't brought any business. All right, how can you really just have to tap in to other people and be willing to receive, their words of affirmation, right? You might be in a point where you're like, man, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah.
Like, this is tough. Like, find that person, and you maybe say, hey, like, I'm sorry, I need you to tell me something really good about what this business is doing.
Yeah,
right?
I literally do that every day.
You have, but just like, you have
Remind me why.
Right. Tell me why I'm doing this again.
Yeah, exactly.
Please tell me I'm not crazy. Because you'll go through that, like, what in the world was I thinking doing this?
Right.
And then it's, that one person that comes in every single week, and they come in and they're like, man, it's so good. Or it's that, that one mom that's like, hey, you have no idea how impactful your service has been. Like, it's not even about the food. It's how this helps my family, and it's like, that's the stuff. Like, those are the pieces that we save. And it's like, all right, when I'm like really feeling the pressure, I'm like, all right, let's go back. Let's remember why we're doing this. All go through those deserts. Like, we all go through those times, whether it's, a spiritual desert, we're battling some mental health issues, financial issues, whatever it is, like we all have gotten to that place. And I was like, I know, one, this is not a coincidence. Juniper Seed, this scripture and this prophet being, nourished and well fed to sustain his journey. I was like, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. And so when we opened our doors in September, we initiated our Just Eat wall, right? Like, we are commanding people to just come in and be fed, and whether, you can afford to eat with us, whether you're just having a really bad day, we have a wall of cards that say Just Eat on them. These guys. Yes. And as long as there is one of those up on the wall, then we will feed our people. So one of those equates to a hot breakfast burrito, which is our, the meal on our menu that has the most protein, the most, veggies. So it's really a nourishing meal to help sustain people on their journey. So, and the way that we have it designed, people come in all the time like, man, like, this feels like home. Like, I feel like I just walked into your house, and I'm like, that's what I want.
Yes.
And I've had, young girls like, man, I wish my house looked like this. And I'm like, well, maybe I'll do some on this side. Well, maybe side hustles to keep it, but no, I mean, that's really I created that environment at my home, and I was like, I want my business to be the same. Like, I don't ever want to walk in here and be like, oh. I mean, it's like, if I'm not in there, a day or two, I walk in and I'm like, oh, okay, we're here. Yeah. It's calm. It's safe. It's, and that's what we want. We want that space to be that.
And it's welcoming.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And people know, hey, you walk through that door, you will be fed.